Today we're going to have a look at something I'm pretty excited about, which is how you can go from basically having nothing, zero code base, to having a beautifully designed, content managed website in less than 5 minutes effectively, with very little coding knowledge. All you need to know is how to click some buttons, use GitHub Codespaces and do some copy and pasting. But what's cool is what you'll end up with is a proper legitimate code base that you can then use for a variety of purposes. So we're going to start by having a look at what the end output is. So this is a very pretty Tailwind-based website. If I hit Command-Shift-E here, I can enter edit mode, and I can make changes directly inside the page. Using edit mode, I can do things like upload new images, replace images directly inside the page. And this is all a Rails code base running the Editmode gem and using Tailwind. So this is the final output, but how do we get here? So first thing that we do is there's a Rails starter code base inside of GitHub. So this is an incredibly bare bones Rails code base. It literally just has Rails 6, doesn't have any nice JavaScript stuff, doesn't have active record. The only two things I've added are Tailwind and Editmode. And so what you can do is go into GitHub Codespaces, you click on new code space, you type in the name of the repo that we're looking for. So I'm incredibly excited about what GitHub are doing with Codespaces. I think that they're basically tearing down a lot of barriers which have been needlessly erected over the last few years, which make it very difficult and beginner unfriendly to get started. So as you'll see in this process, it's very, very simple to specify an existing repository and then get GitHub to fire you up a brand new environment, complete with the in-browser editing experience that comes with VS Code. Okay, now that you're inside of your code space, you can run bundle install. Oops. Install the gems in your gem file. Great. Now, once our gems are installed, we can run a Rails server by simply typing Rails S. And our server is now running. So that was as easy as it was to get a Rails code base up and running. The last thing we need to do in order to see the contents of this Rails code base online is to jump in here to our port forwarding. You want to click on forward a port. You want to enter in port 3000, because that is the port that our server is currently running on. Hit enter. GitHub will forward that port. And then when you click on the globe icon, you can now see your hello world and your code base is running and it's live on the internet. So the next part of this is Tailwind. Tailwind is a CSS library that's only been around for a few years, but it's become very popular. What I really like about Tailwind is that it makes your HTML files portable. So if you write HTML and use particular classes in one place, you can take that HTML and you can copy and paste it into your own code base, and you will see the layout and the design exactly as it existed in another code base, which I think is very powerful. And so I'm going to demonstrate the power of that now. So what I'm going to demo will use commercial components. Tailwind CSS has released a library called Tailwind UI. And then there's a private company called Tailwind Builder, which have built a product on top of Tailwind UI. So what all of that means is you can now come into Tailwind Build and you can drag and drop pieces of a web page from this left side onto a canvas. So let's drag this on. In fact, let's do it based on the original that we had a look at. So we've got, okay, dark top. So we're going to drag that on. We're going to have a feature section. We're going to have testimonials, FAQs, and a footer. As you can see, this is literally as simple as drag and drop. And a footer. Okay, there we have it. We've created our landing page inside of Tailwind Build. So if I preview that in a new tab, I have my landing page. But as we can tell, this is static HTML. It's not live. There's no content management system. It's not inside a code base yet. So what we want to do is take this HTML and put it inside of our own code base. And all we have to do that is copy and paste the raw HTML. Let's go into our code base, which is over here. Let's go to the index file, and let's replace hello world with our Tailwind. Let's remove the script body and HTML tags here. Basically, all we want to have is the necessary divs on the page, so we can remove the start and the end. Basically, now what we have is a bunch of divs with classes, and if we save this and we jump back over to our hello world and reload it, what we should end up with is our Tailwind landing page. This doesn't have content management yet, so what we want to do now is integrate Editmode. So the Editmode gem has already been added to that Rails starter repository. So all we need to do to enable it is open up editmode.rb. I'm going to copy and paste our project ID here. Oops. Hit save. We're going to install the Editmode VS Code extension as well, which I believe is actually already installed. Yeah, it's installed already. What this will allow us to do is go into our files and find the text that we want to make editable. Basically, we want to make some of this text editable inside a content management system. So let's do a find for data to enrich. Here we go. So we found data to enrich. So what we're going to do is select this text. But the last thing we need to do is set up our configuration for the Editmode text editor plugin. So let's copy and paste our authentication token out of Editmode. Hit save. And then back in here, we can select the text inside of our file, hit Command-Shift-L. This is going to be a single line of text. Let's give it a content key of page title first. Great. So what's happened here is we've taken that text, we've sent it to the Editmode API, and the Editmode API has replaced it, or sorry, has stored it inside the API, and we've replaced it now inside of our view file with this little view helper, which is very similar to the okay. And now this piece of the page has now become editable. So if I sign into my account, I can select this piece of text and I can change it. I can hit save changes, and then those changes get persisted to edit mode. So that's the process of going from nothing to having a fully content managed, Tailwind powered Rails code base inside of GitHub Codespaces with no need to set up any local environment. And I think the entire process took us 13 minutes from start to finish. I think that's pretty powerful. If you do too, check out editmode.com and let me know what you think on Twitter. Thanks so much.